Welcome to all. I am Sailaja, Assistant Professor, PG and Research Department of Economics, Seethalakshmi Ramaswamy College, Tiruchirappalli. The topic I am going to discuss today is ability to pay theory of taxation. Before going to the topic in detail, let me give a brief outline about taxation. Taxation is part of public finance. Public finance is the study of the spending and revenue raising activities of the government. Taxes are the most important source of public revenue. It is a compulsory payment levied by the government on individual without expecting any direct return for it. The ability to pay theory of taxation was first proposed by Adam Smith, the father of economics, in the year 1776. Later, it was developed by Roosevelt, Wagner, J.S. Mill, and Sismondi. The ability to pay principle believes that taxes should be imposed on a person depending the person's capability to bear and deal with such burden. It is one of the most generally accepted theory. According to this theory, each person should contribute to the state in proportion to his ability to pay. There are two important approaches to measure ability to pay. They are subjective approach and objective approach. Subjective approach is based on some measure of sacrifice of utility by the taxpayer after paying tax, whereas objective approach is measured on the basis of property, income, size of family and consumption expenditure. I am going to explain the objective indices of ability to pay. The first one is property. Accumulated wealth and property was considered as the index of ability to pay rather than income. Property is not considered the primary index of ability, but it can be considered as supplementary index of ability due to the following reasons. Property may have important source of income, but all property does not yield income. Income from property is not continuous. Property is taxed on its capital value. It is regarded as supplementary source of income. So it is an insufficient index. It has adverse effect on willingness of the people to work, save and invest. And also it leads to consequent effect on capital accumulation and growth of the economy. Next, income. The second index of ability to pay can be accepted as income. Gross income includes all elements of cost, where net income is obtained after paying tax. Net income is a better index of measuring tax paying ability than gross income. Adam Smith was the first economist who accepted income as a measure of tax paying ability of an individual. Later, it is generally accepted by all. Then, size of family. A large size of family with given income may have smaller tax paying ability than of small size. So, size of family can be taken into account while determining the tax paying ability of an individual. So, size of family cannot taken as a primary measure of tax paying ability of an individual. The last one is consumption expenditure. The consumption expenditure has been suggested as a measure of estimating tax paying ability of an individual. The fact that people with more income may spend less and divert their income towards saving and investment. So this index may lead to inequality in the distribution of income and wealth. Among the four indices, income is the most widely used as a measurement of tax paying ability. Next, I am going to explain subjective indices of ability to pay. Subjective approach to ability to pay is based on the assumption that each taxpayer should sacrifice some amount of utility by paying tax. It is based on equity principle. Equity principle implies that aggregate sacrifice of all taxpayers should be minimum possible. The term equal sacrifice is interpreted in three alternative ways. They are equal absolute sacrifice, equal proportional sacrifice and equal marginal sacrifice. Equal absolute sacrifice. It means each taxpayer is made to sacrifice the same amount of utility so that the difference between the aggregate utility from income before tax and utility of income after tax is the same for each taxpayer. This approach suggested that a person in the higher income group should have to pay more than the others. It is symbolically expressed by u of y minus u of y minus t equal to u of t. Here u is the total utility, y is the income before tax, y minus t is the income after the tax, t is the amount of tax. This condition should be same for all taxpayers. Under this approach, no one is completely exempted from paying tax. This means all taxpayers in the society pay some minimum amount of tax to the government. Then equal proportional sacrifice. Under this approach, no one is exempted from sharing the tax burden. Each taxpayer is supposed to sacrifice the same percentage of total satisfaction which he would have derived from his income. The tax liability of each taxpayer is determined with their income. It is symbolically expressed by u of t divided by u of y. This condition is same for all taxpayers. Then equal marginal sacrifice. It means that the marginal utility of income sacrificed by all taxpayers should be the same. A person with a high income has a low marginal utility of income and a person with a lower income has a high marginal utility of income. So the rich should pay much more than the poor. It is symbolically expressed by u of y minus t. The ability to pay principal leads to vertical equity and horizontal equity. Horizontal equity is an economic theory that states that individuals with similar income and assets should pay the same amount of taxes to the government, where vertical equity is a method of tax collection based on the income amount. It is based on the principle of ability to pay through progressive tax rate or proportional taxation. Vertical equity brings up three different tax systems. They are proportional tax, regressive tax and progressive tax. Proportional tax. Under this tax system, same rate of tax levied on different income groups. It means that low, middle and high income taxpayers pay the same percentage of tax to the government. GST is an example for proportional tax. Proportional tax can be explained with the help of diagram. Here x-axis represents different income levels of the taxpayer. Y-axis represents different tax rates levied by the government. 10,000 income group people are paying 10% of tax to the government. Similarly, 80,000 income group people, 90,000 income group people and 1 lakh income group people are also paying the same percentage of tax to the government. Here tax line is horizontal straight line parallel to the x-axis which represents all income group people are taxed in the same rate by the government. Next, regressive tax. Under this system of taxation, the tax rate diminishes with increase in taxable income. It benefits the higher sections of the society having higher income as they need to pay tax at lesser rate to the government. It is burden to lesser income group people with high rate of tax. Regressive tax is explained with the help of diagram. 10,000 income group people are taxed at 30% by the government, whereas 30,000 income group people are taxed only by 10%. This is clearly shows that rising income leads to paying a smaller percentage of income as a tax. There is an inverse relationship between tax rate and taxable income. Progressive tax. It is based on the taxpayer's ability to pay. Under this tax system, high income group people pay a larger fraction of their income than low-income taxpayers. It helps lower-income families to spend the largest share of their incomes on cost of living expenses. Progressive tax system can be explained with the help of diagram. There are different income group people are here. 10,000 income group people are taxed by 5%, whereas 50,000 income group people are taxed by 10%, and 1 lakh income group people are taxed by 15%. There is a positive relationship between level of income and tax rate. When income increases, tax rate also increases, and vice versa. Progressive taxation is fundamentally unfair. It penalizes hard work and success and reduces the incentive to make more money. Everyone should pay the same income tax rate, that is flat tax, to make the system more equitable. The value of rupee for a wealthy person reduces as they spend more. If equal nominal taxes were charged, it will cause unfairly high utility sacrifice for a poor person than for a wealthier person. To equalize the utility sacrifice, rich should pay more than poor. It will help to bring down income inequality. Thank you.